Can you run after knee replacement? Hi, welcome in. If you haven't been here before, this is the topic we're going to be talking about today. My name is Matt. This is my channel. Welcome. Yeah, we'll just get right into it. Can you actually run after a total knee replacement? Yeah, maybe you just had a knee replacement. Maybe you're considering surgery, or maybe you're several months or even years out from, wondering, am I ever going to run again? The answer isn't a simple yes or no. Some people absolutely do return to running, after a knee replacement, but there's a big difference between being physically able to run and deciding whether running regularly is the best thing for you or for your new knee, really. Today we're just going to talk about what doctors generally say about running after knee replacement, why the recommendations can vary, and what the concerns are, and what you should consider before deciding whether running belongs in your life after total knee replacement surgery. And I'll also give you my perspective as somebody, who's actually been through a total knee replacement. I do want to just quick disclaimer, I'm not a doctor or a PT, physical therapist. I'm just sharing my experience and general educational information. Your surgeon and physical therapist should ultimately guide what activities are appropriate for your specific knee. Can you physically run after knee replacement? Here's something that surprises a lot of people. A knee replacement doesn't necessarily mean you'll never be able to run again. After recovery, many people regain enough strength and mobility that they are physically capable of jogging or running. But that's not necessarily the goal, of the knee replacement surgery. The main goals are usually things like reducing pain, restoring your mobility, walking comfortably, climbing stairs, returning to work, exercising, and just getting back to normal everyday life. For somebody who's been dealing with, severe knee pain for years, simply being able to walk through a store or just go on vacation, exercise, or just play with your kids without consistently thinking about their knee can really be life-changing. Running is just a different category because it's considered a high impact activity. When you're walking, forces travel through your knee with every step, but when you're running, those forces really increase, and now you've got an artificial joint taking some of that load. That's where the debate, debate begins with doctors and other people, surgeons, all this. Why some surgeons don't recommend running. So it's usually not because they're afraid your knee is suddenly gonna just fall apart, the first time you go jog across the parking lot or something. The bigger concern is what happens over thousands or millions of repetitive impacts. A total knee replacement contains artificial components designed to work together. Those components are extremely durable, but they're still mechanical parts in there. The mechanical parts can wear out over time. One concern with repetitive high impact activities is that they could potentially contribute to increased wear or loosening of the implants. And that's important because most people getting a knee replacement wants that knee to last as long as possible, the rest of their lives, really. Nobody wants to hear the word revision. I know I don't. Revision, um, knee replacement means another surgery to replace or repair the components of the original knee replacement. And revision surgery can be more complicated than the first knee replacement. So, when surgeons recommend avoiding repetitive, high impact activities, that's what they're often thinking long term about. So they're not usually only thinking, can I run today? They're thinking, what gives this knee the best chance to still function many years from now, 20, 30 years from now. But does running definitely destroy a knee replacement? This is where things get interesting. We don't have perfect evidence showing that occasional running automatically ruins a knee replacement. There are people with knee replacements who return to very active lifestyles. Some people jog, some people hike, some play sports, some cycle long distances, some return to activities that would probably make their surgeons a little nervous. But here's the problem. There isn't necessarily enough long-term research to say that regular distance running after a total knee replacement is completely harmless. Think about that. Think about the question this way. Suppose somebody gets their knee replaced at 70 years old. If they put additional wear on that implant, it may never become a major issue during their lifetime. Now imagine somebody getting their knees replaced at 40 or 50 or 39 like me. That person could potentially need that implant, to function for several decades. Suddenly longevity becomes a much bigger consideration. That's why your age, weight, activity level, your implant, surgical history, the bone quality, and overall health can all affect the conversation. There isn't one universal answer for everyone. What activities are usually encouraged? The good news is that having a knee replacement absolutely does not mean you have to live a, slow life or just not working out. Actually, staying active is extremely important, really. There are plenty of lower impact activities that can give you a fantastic workout. Walking is probably the most obvious. You can gradually increase your distance, speed, and even incline. Cycling is another great option because you can work your, cardiovascular system and legs without the repetitive impact of running. Swimming, a lot of people take up swimming after knee replacement. It can be really, really excellent for the knee and just the workout. A lot of people do that. Elliptical machines can give you a running like cardiovascular workout with significantly less impact on the joint. Strength training can also be incredibly important. Your quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes, and surrounding muscles all play a big role in supporting your new knee. And depending on your surgeon's recommendations, you may eventually be able to return to activities like hiking, golf, doubles tennis, other recreational sports. A knee replacement doesn't end your fitness. for a lot of people, it actually gives them the ability to become more active, um, just because they're finally not fighting all that consistent knee pain, the arthritis, and all the things that they had prior. What about short bursts of running? Well, here's another question people ask. What if I'm not trying to run a marathon? Maybe, you're playing with your kids. Maybe your dog gets loose. Maybe you're crossing the street and the light changes. Maybe you want to jog 50 yards. Well, that's different than saying I'm going to start running 5 miles every morning. Occasionally needing to move quickly isn't necessarily the same thing as intentionally putting your knee through thousands or millions of, running strides uh, several days every week. So that's an important distinction to discuss with your surgeon. Some surgeons may be comfortable with occasional jogging after you're completely recovered. Others may avoid, just recommend avoiding it altogether. And your situation may completely be different from somebody else's, depending on, weight and just all kinds of things. If you want to run, don't just start running. This is probably the biggest point I really want people to take away from this video. If you've had a knee replacement and you want to run again, don't just go outside one morning and start running. You need to talk to your surgeon, talk to your physical therapist, and just make sure that your body is actually ready for that impact. And so because even if your implant is doing perfectly, the rest of your body has been through a lot too. After knee replacement, you can have weakness in your quadriceps, and I got that right now. I'm 10 weeks post-op, and it's pretty weak right now. So your balance may have changed. Your walking mechanics may have changed. Your hip and glute strength may need more work. And if you've been dealing with knee problems for years, like me, your body may have developed compensation you don't really even realize you have. I got a lot of compensation. You may have spent several years limping or favoring one side, your strong side. Now suddenly you're asking your body to run. That's a big jump. A better approach would usually involve gradually rebuilding strength and conditioning first. Walking, strength training, cycling, balance work, and increasing your walking speed. Then if your surgeon and physical therapist believe running is appropriate, you can discuss how to introduce it safely. Body weight matters too. There's another part of the conversation that sometimes gets overlooked, and that's your body weight. Every step we take puts force through the knee. When body weight increases, the forces, are going to through the knee during weight bearing activities increase a lot. And running adds even more impact. That's one reason maintaining a healthy body weight can be especially valuable after knee replacement. And this is something I'm personally working on. I'm on a goal or a mission to lose 100 pounds here. So I'm on my way, but it's going to be a road. I'm trying to get healthier, just lose that weight, build that strength to protect my knee for the long haul. Like I said, I'm 39 and I'm planning to live a long life, so it's going to be a long haul. Because for me, the goal isn't simply, can I make myself run? The better question is, what can I do today that gives me the best chance of having a strong, functional knee decades from now? Definitely for me, that's my question. Um, it's just a completely different mindset than how fast can I run. My personal perspective is, having gone through this total knee myself, um, I've had to rethink what fitness really means. Before surgery, you might think if I can't run, I'm limited, but I'm learning that isn't necessarily true. I can still work hard, I can still get stronger, and I can still lose weight. I can still improve my cardiovascular health, and I can still challenge myself. I don't necessarily need to run miles every day to prove that my knee replacement was successful. For me, success is being able, just to live my life without that constant arthritis and constant controlling what I can do and not do, that pain that I had. Um, yeah. And if choosing lower impact exercises potentially helps this knee last longer, that's a trade off I'm willing to seriously consider, especially because I want this knee to be be around for a long time. So, can you run after knee replacement? That's the question, right? Let's bring everything together here. For some people, yes, you can. Will every surgeon recommend it? Nope. Does running automatically mean you're going to destroy your joint, your implant? No, we don't have evidence that it's that simple. Um, is repetitive, high impact running something you should discuss with your surgeon before doing? Absolutely. I wouldn't do it without doing that. And that's probably the most important answer. Your goal shouldn't simply be proving that you can run. Your goal should be figuring out what activities allow you to stay healthy, strong, and active, while also giving your knee replacement the best possible chance of lasting for decades. For some people, that may include some running. For others, walking, cycling, swimming, elliptical training, and strength training may make much more sense. Running's not for everybody. Your knee, your health, your surgeon, your decision, it all comes to that. If you've had a knee replacement, I'd really love to hear the comments. Just, have you tried to run since your surgery? I haven't. I'm a little scared, to be honest, but and what did your surgeon tell you about running? Mine said it's not a good idea, so I'd be interested to see what you said. I'm especially curious because recommendations seem to vary so much surgeon to surgeon. And if you're considering a knee replacement or you're recovering from one, subscribe to my channel here. I'm sharing, a lot of videos about knee replacement recovery, fitness too, weight loss, just getting stronger after your surgery, and what this process actually looks like from the perspective of somebody who's living through it. I hope this helps. Because, knee replacement isn't the end of being active. For a lot of us, it's just the beginning of getting our lives back. Thanks for watching. I'll definitely see you on the next one. Stay tuned. There's a lot more coming. Take care.